I am here with Les, who just turned 74. So let's first wish him a happy belated birthday. Les, welcome, welcome. How did you find carnivore?
Oh my gosh, Bella. Well, 3.5 years ago, August of 2022, a little over 3 years ago, I was in a bad place, and I was in a bad place physically and mentally, and I was just disgusted with myself. I was overweight. I was, I won't say I was depressed, but I was kind of changing from a glass half full kind of guy to a glass half empty kind of guy, which I didn't like. And I was, after 28 years in the Army infantry and being a lieutenant colonel and all this kind of good stuff, I used to be in great shape and all that kind of thing. So I just looked in the mirror one day and went, you need to get off. I can't tell you everything I really said, but I said, you need to get off your butt. My self talk is mean. I don't do nice, flowery self talk. I do mean self talk to myself. So I say, you need to get off your butt, soldier, and you need to get back in shape and you need to do all these kind of things. So I just went on a search. And a buddy of mine named Mark said, Les, I was 320 pounds 8 years ago, and I'm now 160. So I've lost half of me. And I went, well, how'd you do it? He said, well, I just eat meat. And I go, okay, well, I love meat. And I mean, like steaks and stuff. And he goes, yeah. And I said, well, I love that. And I said, so what else can I have? He goes, that's it. And I went, what? And so I thought he was crazy. So I didn't jump in immediately. He told me about Dr. Berry's community and all that proper human diet. So I started checking that out on the side and everything. And I said, okay, I'll cut back on my carbs and I'll, start doing some other things like the seed oils and things like that. And I saw a little bit of progress, but not much. And so after about a month or 6 weeks, I just said, well, I'm going to go even more. So I went to ketovore, which is kind of carnivore keto. It's basically less than 10 grams of carbs a day, whatever. And I
Yes.
saw more improvement, but still not a lot. And so I finally said, well, I'm just going to jump in with both feet and do carnivore. And I did. And boy, it's like somebody turned on the afterburners. The weight started coming off. All my pain started leaving. My body started feeling better. My back started feeling better. I was diagnosed with lower spinal stenosis, and all these great things started happening to me. And I went, and I get to eat steak every day, or
Yes.
pork or whatever. And yeah, it was great. So that's how I got started, is just kind of stumbled into it and was disgusted with my life and where I was at the time.
Wow. So inspiring, Les. So if you don't mind repeating exactly how much weight you dropped, and then during what time span did you need to drop that much weight?
I lost most of the weight itself in probably between August of 2022 by September, October, November, December, January, February, probably by February or March. So I lost most of it in like 6 months. I went from 238 down to 183. So I lost the 55 pounds. But more importantly was how I felt and everything. And my pant size, which was 40, I was a fat boy, man. I was wearing a 40-inch pant. And I went from 40 down to 32. And I hadn't worn a 32 waist pant since I was in junior high. So like 60 years ago or 55 years ago. And I lost my gut because, men they carry all the weight in their gut, and that's the killer for them, the visceral fat and stuff.
Yes.
So I lost that weight and just started feeling better. And it was, so that took place in like the first, probably by 9 months later, I was great. I lost the weight. I had skin tags on me, and the doctors say, you're just getting old. You get skin tags and all that. And I pulled one off and said, no, you don't want to do that because you start bleeding. And I thought it's like a scab, and it's not.
Wow.
It's part of your body. So all the skin tags went away. My dry skin, I've been to probably 30 dermatologists in my life, and every one of them told me, you just have dry skin. You got to take warm showers. You got to put lotion on. You got to do this. You got to do that. I tried everything they said, even tried the prescription things they gave me to put on it. Nothing worked. And in
Wow.
6 to 8 months later, from 6 to 8 months later, I got rid of all my dry skin and it just went away. And I'm like, okay, all the
Amazing.
dermatologists were wrong. So yeah, that was a good
Wow.
picture of me back when I had the extra. I guess I probably shouldn't say fat boy, but that's what I call myself. So when I had all the extra weight, Yeah, that was me on the
Amazing.
left in 2018, and I was like that for years because I was in the Army, in the reserves. So most of my time was as a corporate executive. And as a corporate executive, oh my gosh, I was all the time whining and dining customers and prospects, taking them out to eat.
Mhm.
You'd have before dinner drinks. You'd eat all this horrible food. You'd get stuffed.
Mhm.
You'd have after dinner drinks. You'd get the desserts and all that. Yeah, and that was me in 2022. You can tell not much difference
Wow.
2018 to 2022. I was still
Yes.
like that. And then in 2024, I well, I in addition to eating correctly, I hired a yoga coach and I hired a strength coach and had private lessons with them every week. And that middle picture, the strength coach says, "We got to get a picture of you. There is nobody in this gym that looks anything like you that's your age." And so we
Mm.
we took that picture of me. And then the picture on the right was I was going to vote one day and I had my kicking ass after 70 shirt on. And I wear that because all kinds of people ask me all kinds of things and they think it's a cute shirt. And they go, "Are you really 70?" And I went, "Yep." And so they start
Mhm.
asking me questions. So it's a natural lead in to how I can help them.
And I met you, Les, in person. You really don't look or act like you're 70 plus 74 now. You are
Yep.
so full of energy. So let's talk about your secrets. So, what was it about your specific carnivore approach that gave you such great results? If you could boil it down to the top three pillars that gave you the weight loss, that gave you also the muscles that you built and the energy,
Yep.
all of it, what are your top three pillars?
Well, I started out and I thought about, if you think of a Venn diagram with three circles, I thought about I'm going to focus on body, mind, and spirit. And so I first said, I'm going to start focusing. Well, I focused on the spirit first because I had to have a conversation with God to ask for his help because I said, I'm old and fat and broken. And God, if you'll help me fix myself, I've done a crummy job for you in my first 70 years of my life, but my next 70 years, I'll do a great job for you. And it worked. So body, mind, and spirit. I had my conversation with God, and then I said, okay, I'm going to focus on the body first. And when I focused on
Yeah.
the body, there were three things that I came up with. I kind of stumbled into it. Now I'm doing it all the time with people. It's eat, sleep, move. And the very first thing I
Mm.
started was eat. So you start eating properly. And there's the mind has the ability, if you're ever doing a presentation, Bella, the mind has the ability to remember three things, an audience,
Mm.
three things.
Hmm.
So try and do things in groups of three. So, like I said, body, mind, and spirit,
Oh,
and then eat,
okay.
sleep, and move. And then within the eating, I tell people I did a church, I've been doing a 10-week church health seminar every Saturday for about an hour and a half. And I tell them, all right, here's the very first thing you're going to do three things. Here's the first thing you're going to do: no sugar. Cut all the sugar out of your diet. And I talked to him about how to do that and all that kind of thing. And I've got that on my Living on Love outreach website. So I got two websites: Kicking Ass After 70, which is what I started because that's what I was doing, but that's inwardly focused. The Living on Love outreach is outwardly focused for everybody else. So they go to my website, everything's free. They go there, they look at my, it's actually the course that I set up that I was using with my church. And it's get rid of all the sugars in your life. And I can tell you how to do that. And
Mhm.
you can't like put them in the back of the pantry and saying, I'll just keep them there in case. No, you got to get totally rid of them. And I
Mm.
bundled up all of that stuff and put it in a big box and went next door to my neighbor who's got a wife and three kids. And I gave it all to them. And I probably should have thrown it
Mm.
away or taken it down to the soup kitchen or something, but I gave it all to them. So eat, sleep, move. And in the eating part, get rid of all your sugar. That's number one. Number two is cut your carbs to less than 100 grams of carbs a day, just to start with. Just to start with,
Mhm.
because I don't want to freak people out, start talking carnivore. And so get your carbs less than 100 grams a day and use chronometer and track whatever you put in your mouth and your body and use a scale once a week. And
Yes.
the third thing is, and man, just as important, get rid of all the seed oils in your life. Just basically have
Beautiful.
extra virgin olive oil, really expensive or moderately expensive. 18 or 20 bucks for a little 375 milliliter bottle is a good extra virgin olive oil. And get rid of all the other oils in your life. You can have beef tallow, you can have bacon grease, and I got a big can of bacon grease, And if you need something else where you might need avocado oil or something, great. But if you stick to extra virgin olive oil, bacon grease, and beef tallow, you're great.
Les, where do you shop for your carnivore staples?
Um, Great question. There's a store here in Texas that I love called HEB. HEB is in boy. And they are
Right.
great stores, but I just go to the regular market. I don't go to like Whole Foods because they're so freaking expensive. So
Yes.
I go to the stores, and what I do, and here's a smart shopping tip for everybody. Oh, by the way, hi audience. Glad all of you are here tonight. Uh, I go to a
Yes.
store and I watch at certain times of the year. Um,
Mm.
Memorial Day, Easter, July 4th, Labor Day, those four for sure. Everybody's run sales on their meat, and so they compete with each other. And I've gotten ribeye
Mm.
steaks for like $4.97 a pound, whereas normally they're like $15.99 a pound. And that's what I do.
Yeah.
I'll just go and yes, it's not grass fed. Would I love to have grass fed? Yes. I would love to do all the things that you go, okay, well, I'm 100% pure. But it's like, hey, I don't want you to be perfect. I just want you to be moving in the right direction. And that's the
Mm.
important thing people need to think about. One step at a time. Lindy and I were talking beforehand. I say, I'm using the old metaphor of Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz and follow the yellow brick road. And in fact, I have yellow bricks that I carry around and I show people. And I go, I picked this up when I was on the yellow brick road, and you can have one. And I'll give them a little brick and stuff like that. And I say, follow the yellow brick road. What means stay on the road. You're headed to the
Mhm.
Emerald City. You're going to see the Wizard of Oz, but don't get distracted by the screaming monkeys and everything else you're going to find along the way that you go there. Stay on the road. It's a very simple process. It's not easy, but it's simple, and your mind won't get confused because the confused mind says no. If you give people a lot of options and a lot of this and a lot of that, and buy colostrum or get this or get that and all this other kind of stuff, you know what they do? They do nothing. And if they do
Mhm.
nothing, you've lost them. So my goal is to bring the lost sheep into the fold. Once they're in the
Mm.
fold, I get them trained. I get them down the yellow brick road. I get them to Oz, meaning like me. I view my transformation when I transformed. I was at Oz, so I got what I had, which is a healthy and happy longevity. So
Beautiful.
I'm sorry, I'm talking 100 miles an hour, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
I love it, Les. Now I need to know, what does your family think about your carnivore lifestyle?
Oh, they think I'm stupid. They think I'm crazy. My But
Okay.
and that's my brother and my sisters. My parents are gone, but my brother and my sisters, and even some of my cousins, when we got together for a reunion, they look at me and go, "Oh my gosh, what did you do?" And all this kind of thing. And I went, "Pretty easy." And I told them what I
Yes.
did, and they go, "You don't need any vegetables? You don't need any fruit?" Well, blueberries are really good for you. And they start down the path of all the stuff that's good for me. It says, blueberries have sugar. Your body looks at that sugar just like it looks at a Snickers bar. If you were to eat a Snickers bar with the sugar in that, no difference on how your body processes it. And they go, well, that's not true. And I went, okay, don't believe me. But that's what goes on. And so they all think I'm crazy. My daughter thought I was crazy until I came there. Every time I go, she lives about 2 hours from me. She and my son-in-law and my grandson. My grandson Caleb was born on my 60th birthday. So I just turned 74 and he just turned 14. And we always celebrate
Wow.
our birthdays together. But when I go over there, Caleb's going, Mom, can Papa cook for us while he's here? Because I cook all these
Yes.
I cook tri-tips and picanhas and ribeye steaks and T-bones and pork belly and all this other kind of stuff. And they love it. And
Great.
Deidre's like, I don't have to cook. You bet. Go to the kitchen.
Oh, I love that. Good for you. Well, I ask because when you are so confident and you talk about a carnivore diet and you explain how best to start in such an easy to understand and inspiring way. And so I just had to ask, well, does your family feel inspired by you too? And it seems like they don't quite accept your carnivore lifestyle just yet.
Yeah. And, there's a phrase in the Bible, and I will get it wrong, but it basically says a prophet is not admired or believed by anybody in his hometown. He's got to go outwards and prophesy to other communities, and they believe him, but nobody in his hometown believes him. And so it's kind
Mhm.
of like that with us in the carnivore community. And I'm not the first one that says this. They're like, yeah, a lot of people
Yeah.
believe it, but not my family.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
I've given up trying to convince them. All I can do is show by example. I'm a nicer person than I used to be.
Mhm.
I was very inwardly focused. I'm a type A, as you can probably tell. So I was very, uh, achieve the goal, achieve the objective. I'm a Stephen Covey follower. The second of Stephen Covey's 7 habits is begin with the end in mind. And I'm really good at that. What's the end goal? What do I want to do? And so that's my vision. I set the vision down, and that's my end. And then I work backwards from that to what's the first step on the journey. And I always have the end in mind with my steps and how to do that. And so I'm just going to be a living example to show people. And you know what? It's sad, but I'll probably outlive my brother and sisters, and they're all younger than me. And I don't want
Yeah.
that, but they 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 keep thinking that this is some kind of hocus pocus or something goofy that I'm doing. And it's 3 years now that I haven't, with rare exceptions, eaten any fruit, any vegetables, certainly no sugars in terms of like oh man, I used to love Cheez-Its, Bluebell ice cream, pecan
Yeah.
pie, key lime pie. I had like 5 favorites
Mhm.
that have, and I am not a moderator. I cannot moderate. So I have
Me
to be an
too.
abstainer.
Mhm.
It's like an
Yeah.
alcoholic can't have one sip of alcohol. I cannot have one bite of pecan pie because my daughter had a
Right.
pecan pie at Christmas. I ate my whole piece, and then at night when they were in bed, I went back in the kitchen and ate 2 more pieces. I
Wow.
I just
So
can't do it.
relatable. Same.
Really?
Same here.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Very much so. And I want to ask everyone watching this, since Les brought it up, the whole moderator versus abstainer. What do you think you guys are? Comment it, please. Do you think you're a moderator, which means you can have one, two little tiny bites and you can leave it? Or when you are in front of sweets or junk food or your favorite childhood foods, you must abstain because you cannot just eat a few bites. You will eat the whole dang thing. Let me know in the comments, please. Now, Les, are you comfortable with taking questions from our
Absolutely.
community?
All I
Beautiful.
can say is if I
Then
don't want to answer it, I'll say no comment. But no, I'm fine. I'm
that's
fine.
okay. No worries.
I'll take them.
All right, then
Yep.
feel free to submit your questions, guys. I already have a whole list of questions that I'll put up. This one is from the disabled homesteader. Welcome. How long does oxalate dumping last? I'm day 45 of carnivore and it is so itchy. Les?
Well, disabled homesteader, I feel for you. Fortunately for me, unfortunately for you, I've never had oxalate dumping. In fact, I had some people in my community scold me because I was still eating spinach and some other stuff. And they're, oh, do you know how high in oxalates those are? And all this kind of thing. I go, I've eaten it all
Mhm.
my life and I've never had any issues or problems. So I can't answer that one just because I've got no knowledge of it. And I do a lot of deep dives. I go down a lot of rabbit holes researching stuff, but it's stuff that I want to know more about, like my prostate and
Sure.
how to get it healthier and stuff. But I've never had an issue with oxalate dumping, or with oxalates in general, so I've never researched it.
I can chime in here because I did experience it myself and I used to be vegan. So I was vegan for six
Oh, that's
years.
right.
Yeah. And I think because I was vegan, eating oxalate rich foods and exclusively oxalate rich foods for so long, my oxalate dumping was pretty severe. Um, it lasted, I want to say, half a year. And I want to make sure
Wow.
the disabled homesteader that you kind of have a realistic expectation. I know you're only 45 days into carnivore, but what you can do to really ease those symptoms, especially if it's extremely itchy and unbearable, is to slowly add in small amounts of oxalates. So it's not this sudden all in or no
Oh,
oxalates at all. And your body is just doesn't know what to do, but just wants to dump it all out right now. What you can do is either have some black tea. Black tea has low oxalates, but it does have oxalates. Or you can have lemon juice. So put some lemon juice on your steak, have it as a dipping sauce, one or the other, and keep me posted. Let me know if that lessens the oxalate dumping symptoms. But that is the biggest hack you can do. Okay. Dr. Marnie says, I'm carnivore 2 months and I have lost 20 pounds. I'm still eating cheese. Is that okay? Any other
Pick
suggestions,
me,
Les?
pick me.
Yeah.
um, okay, Dr. Marnie, that's a maybe, maybe not question. And here's why. I love cheese. In fact, I ate probably 4 ounces of cheese today in between my steaks. But here's the challenge. You usually, most people can usually eat cheese, but it's about the quantity of cheese that you're eating. And I would suggest, because I can see the weight going back on if I eat cheese, even if I don't snack between meals and I eat cheese. I'm a 2 meal a day guy, TMAD. So I try and eat around between 8 and 9:30 in the morning and between 12:30 and 2 in the afternoon, and then I'm done for the day. So no snacking. But if in those meals I eat cheese, and if I do that 3 or 4 times a week and add cheese, I'll add. I love taking 5 Mexican cheese and sprinkling it in my scrambled eggs when I make it and cook it. But I can't do that a lot because if I do, I'll start seeing the scale creep up a little bit on me. So I don't
Oh,
know if that
wow.
helps or not. It's an N
Oh, yeah.
equals one kind of thing. Everybody's got their own path to go, but you just got to be very observant and see what happens when you do. And if you eat too much, which I've done before, you get constipated.
Yeah, that is true. I hear that all the time too. I'll give my experience with cheese, Dr. Marnie. My first 2 years of carnivore, I had to stick to beef, eggs, butter. Pretty much that's all I ate because I was healing. After I healed everything that I wanted to heal, I was able to tolerate a lot of foods that I couldn't
Mm,
tolerate my first 2 years of carnivore. So I just want to put that out there just so you guys know some foods that may inflame you today may not inflame you or cause weight gain, weight stall down the line after you've healed. So I actually eat raw cheese every single day now with no
mm,
issues, just benefit. I feel like I'm even more
nice.
energetic. Yeah, I can work out harder when I have my raw dairy. So it's all up to where you are in your journey. I love what Les said. Be observant. Jerry says, welcome, Jerry. 30-day carnivore. I lost 90 pounds immediately. Then rheumatoid arthritis flared and I gained 5 pounds of inflammation. I haven't lost any more in 1 month. How do I keep from losing hope? Les.
Um, One thing you'll find out if you stick around me and follow me is you're going to find out I'm real big on fasting, real big on fasting. In fact, I've done a 3-day fast 8 weeks in a row, and I've done that twice now. And I'm leading in another community. I'm leading some 5-day fast fest is what we call it, and I'm leading 5-day fast. And the deal about it is, it's everybody can start on the journey with me. I'm going to go 5 days. Okay, everybody can start on the journey with me, and all I want you to commit to is 48 hours. Don't commit to one day. There's not a lot of difference between 1 day fast and an intermittent fast. So commit to 2 days minimum. But here's the thing, the first 2 days are the hardest 2 days. Almost everybody. Day three is a piece of cake compared to day two. Day two, man, I'm grouchy and I'm this and I'm that. And so I have a list of jobs that I put off that I don't want to do. And I do those on day two. So it takes my mind off. You're hungry and you need to eat and all that your mind basically psychs you out. But I'm thinking it would help you with the inflammation and some other things if you fasted. I don't know your background history. I'm not a doctor. I've never played one on TV, so I'm not giving you medical advice. But I would just say you might want to look into that. In fact, I'm so much a fan of fasting on a regular basis, by the way. I try and do a 5-day fast 3 to 4 times a year. And I'm getting ready to start leading a group this Sunday in a 5-day fast, but they don't know this yet unless they happen to watch this interview. Uh, I'm going to open it up 2 more days to 7 days, and I'm going to go 7 days instead of 5 because
Wow.
there's so many humongous benefits to fasting once you
Mm.
get past day two. In days 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I don't want to go longer than 7, but once you get that, you get all these phenomenal benefits. Jerry, that's a long answer that doesn't exactly address your question, but the rheumatoid arthritis, I'm not very familiar with. and you gain 5 pounds of inflammation, that tells me you're retaining fluid. And if you do a fast, that should help with the fluid. And I'm sure Bella's got a lot more she can tell us about that.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I wanted to learn more from you, Les. When you do your long fast, 3, 5, 7 days, are you doing electrolytes? Are you doing broth or is it water only?
No broth if I can help it. I do electrolytes. Let's say I do electrolytes. I'm going to do my creatine. I don't think I have to cut the creatine out. I won't do colostrum or there's a, but I do my, let's see, electrolytes, iodine. I'm looking at over by my coffee pot. Electrolytes, iodine, salt,
Yes.
and creatine. And no
Awesome.
butter, no butter, no
Nope.
dollop of
Mhm.
cream. Okay, no,
Oh, wow.
no cream.
Mhm.
Don't even
Yep.
like say, well, I'll just do a little dab or something. I'm telling you the hardcore way to do it. If you're going to really fast, don't cheat. And
Mhm.
that's a cheat. Some people call it a hack, but don't cheat if you can help it. And then if you get towards the end, if you're past day two, if you're day
Mm.
two, day one and day two, you think of yourself marching up a hill. You're marching up a hill day one and day two. At the end of day two, you crest the hill and you look down and there's all this downhill with gently flowing roads going down and little small hills but you're going downhill the whole way. That's what I liken a fast once you're past day two. So you can do that. But you have to fake out your mind. Your brain is your worst enemy. Do not listen to your brain, listen to your body. If your body is telling you something bad, listen to it. And make sure you have something like a keto mojo or whatever. So you're checking your glucose and your ketones every day. And I suggest during a fast, you check it twice a day. And so you know what's going on. I'm a tracking fool. So I've got this big bodacious spreadsheet that I built in Excel where I help people track everything on a daily
Mm.
basis. And that's what I lead my group through and stuff like that. But yeah, you'll get so many great benefits. And maybe this first time, if you haven't ever done it, just do a 3-day fast. You'll get a lot of good benefits on day 3, autophagy and some other stuff. If you go on day 4, 5, 6, you'll get stem cell regeneration. You'll get other stuff, cleaning out your body and everything like that. But anyway, Bella,
Wow.
what do you have to say about all that?
Oh, I just love learning from you. Thank you for sharing all of that. Well, I can only say I've experienced rolling 48s. Have you ever done that?
I haven't. I've heard of people doing it, but I've never done it because to me, once you're the first 48 is the toughest part. After that, it gets a lot easier. So I don't want to start
Yes.
over.
Right. For me, though, when I did my 48-hour, it was just the right amount of energy boost where I felt like I was just so like my mental clarity hit. Maybe it's because I'm a woman. So I feel like
Okay.
what I've seen in the community, those who love fasting, men can easily do longer fasts with no backfire. Okay.
Okay.
Women, we do need to be a little bit more sensitive and careful to not overdo the fasting, especially if we are menstruating. And I'm menstruating
True.
very much still. And so
Okay.
I noticed when I was doing rolling 48s, I started getting that boost of energy, yes. And then when I broke it, it was just the right amount of fuel to keep going and rolling, rolling,
Oh,
rolling for about like 4 to 5 times in a row. And for me, that was perfect. Of course, if anyone watching wants to do longer fasts, do it. Like I love fasting. I love, I guess, the benefits of extended fasting. And I see the miracle stories every day in the steak and butter gang as well. And I think the main takeaway that I've learned from seeing so many long fasters thrive or maybe make mistakes and burn out is make sure you're nourished. Just make sure
yes.
that you're not coupling under eating, not eating enough fat, and extended fasting. It could be a bit of a disaster if you do that for too long. That combination.
And it's really important to Bella's point that when you refeed, it's important how you enter a fast. And I'm a big believer in sardines when you enter a fast, that be your last meal. But I'm
Great.
even more a bigger believer in sardines when you exit a fast. Exit with some nice bone broth with some butter in it and stuff like that, and nourish your stomach and give your stomach 20 to 30 minutes to take that in and just settle and all that.
Mm,
Then go scramble a couple of eggs, one or two, take that in, and what you want to, you're re-entering the eating zone. And don't do what I did, because the first couple of fasts, man, I cooked a big old 22-ounce ribeye and I ate the whole thing. And the toilet and I were best friends for the next 4 or 5 hours, and you don't want to do that. But
yeah.
yeah, and if you need to, if you're going to do an extended fast, more than 48 hours, then think about the bone broth as a backup for you. And
Mm,
you can do that, and just the bone broth and the warmth, and you can put some salt in it if you want. I try not to do butter if you don't need to, just because it's going to add extra stuff in there. But the bone broth, some people that have been in my fasting groups, after day 3 or whatever, they'll have a cup of bone broth at the end of day 3, and they're ready to go again. And then they do another day or two.
great. Love it. Great fasting tips. Thank you. Kimmy says, I'm Cherokee and the food distribution gives quite a bit of pork. So, what is your take on pork, Les?
Me love pork. Me love bacon. And I like those little porky pigs. Um, Now, some religions and some groups do not eat pork, and bottom dwellers in the sea, like lobsters and stuff like that. So I'm putting that aside for a minute and just talking about pork itself. I like putting pork in my diet, and the way I do it is I love pork belly. I didn't even know about that till a couple of years
Mm,
ago, but I love
yes.
pork belly, and I love cutting it in 1-inch cubes and putting it in my air fryer and frying it up. Then I have to have a
Mhm.
problem, though, because sometimes I might want a snicky snack during the day between meals, and the pork belly bites that I know are in the fridge are like, no, 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 no. Just do those during a meal. But pork belly bites are great. Bacon, sometimes I cook up a whole pound of bacon and 4 or 5 eggs and eat that whole thing. Pound of bacon and 4 or 5 eggs, and it's wonderful. So
I love that.
love bacon, love
Yeah.
pork,
I love pork
and save
belly.
your
Yeah.
bacon fat. Yeah.
Yeah. Two great hacks. So first one, I'll break it down for you guys. Les just said some two gems of carnivore hacks. Instead of bacon, which I find a way too like salted, spiced, just
Okay.
drowned in a little bit too much saltiness and flavor, I love the flavor of plain pork belly. Did you know that bacon is basically thinly sliced pork belly? So if you
That's
go
right.
to any butcher shop or big chain grocery store near you and get a whole slab, they can come real big. Costco has it too. Big slab of fresh plain pork belly. You can hand slice it yourself, air fry it, bake it, fry it up on your pan, and you can control how salty it is. You can control the flavoring and what spices you use. And it's also so much cleaner. Also, you can guarantee it's sugar free, which these days in America, it's very, very difficult to find sugar free
You're right.
bacon. Yes.
You're right. And the other thing, you mentioned Costco. I mean, when you buy a pork belly at Costco, you're looking at 60,
You,
$70, something like that.
yeah.
However, Costco is, at least in my Costco in Texas, it started slicing it up into, like, I'll call it 29 to $35 packages, which is smaller packages of pork belly. And what they do is they'll run it on sale with, you get a $5 off coupon. So if you find, this is how frugal I am. If you find the smallest package of pork belly that's like 27 bucks and you get $5 off, then you're getting it for $22, whatever. But in any event, you're still getting
Mm.
pork belly at a great price, and doing what Bella says is a great idea.
Amazing. And Judy just asked, what about bacon with nitrates? Again, if you're worried about nitrates in your bacon, fresh pork belly is the way. Okay,
Yep.
Christy. Les, do you eat dairy these days at all?
Um, Let me think how to answer that. I eat some cheese. I love cheese. I eat some cheese. Sometimes if I'm making Dr. Davis's, I'm just looking at all my books, Super Gut,
Yeah.
William Davis. If I'm making some yogurt, I will use half and half in the yogurt instead of whole milk. just because it gives it a thicker consistency. Um,
Mm.
if I'm making some creatine, Maria Emmerich has a creatine pudding recipe. And if you make creatine
Mm.
pudding and you're using heavy whipping cream, then
Mm.
I get it from that. But as a general rule, I don't do dairy really other than the cheese. What I'll do is I'll buy these in the deli section. They'll have like sliced salami or sliced pepperoni or something like that. And sometimes I'll get a package of those and then a package of these little cheeses where they're more expensive, but anyway, they're all sliced up nice and neat. They come in the long brick like butter. And
Yeah.
I'll take for a lunch if I am lazy and don't want to go cook a steak or something. I'll just grab some meat and grab some cheese and put them together and just eat them. You don't have the bread, but that's cool.
So delicious. Yeah, cheese is the ultimate. If you're on the go, you're a big traveler, you're just a busy person, cheese does provide you a lot of protein and fuel. It's really good to pick up anywhere that you travel. I personally eat dairy every day now. Again, though, for those who maybe joined the live stream late, my first couple years of carnivore, I was only having beef, butter. Yes, butter is a dairy, but it's a full fat dairy, so I don't really count it
Right.
as an inflammatory dairy. But I was having beef, butter, eggs. That was most of my carnivore diet for like 2 years because I needed to heal. After healing, now that I have the energy and the health to actually work out for the first time in my life, I actually want to work out. Then, after incorporating the raw dairy, I feel like it really helps me fuel and recover really well. So, speaking of raw dairy, I do only eat raw. I do not eat pasteurized. There's quite a big difference to me between pasteurized
Yes,
dairy and unpasteurized, also known as raw dairy. So I recommend you guys look into it. If you want me to do a whole live stream explaining it, I'm happy to. Just let me know in the comments. But my favorite raw dairy currently is Miller's Bio Farm. They ship to most states in America, and they're linked down below if you guys want to check it out. Yeah.
that's great.
Thank you. Alia, welcome. When did you cut your hair, Bella? I loved it long. Also, can't wait to meet everyone at Hack Your Health. I didn't cut my hair. It's still pretty long. I didn't cut
Yeah,
it. Yeah. It just looks like it because the layers are sticking out, I think. But Hack Your Health. Are you going, Les?
I'm not. I'm not.
You're not.
I've got I'm working on a book. Dr. Berry has agreed to co-author a book with me, Kicking Ass After 70. He's done his Kicking Ass After 50 book, and he's going to co-author Kicking Ass After 70 with me. And so I'm
Oh my
working on
God.
that, and I'm also working on, okay, don't tell anybody, but I'm working
Yes.
on a series of ebooks that are going to be very inexpensive via Amazon, and it's basically using the Follow the Yellow Brick Road theme, and it's going to be the way you can go down the road step by step, especially for people who aren't in the community, don't know anything about this. They're overweight, they're tired, they're hurting, and they don't know where to turn. So it's going to be very thin little ebooks to help them stay on the road and get well. Once people get on the road and they get to where they're feeling healthier and everything, they know the right things to eat and not eat and all that. When they get to Oz, the Emerald City, here's what I view it. When they get to Oz, they're going to see Bella, they're going to see Dr. Baker, they're going to see Dr. Berry, they're going to see all these people there that each of them have their own stall, if you will, their own shtick, their own thing that they've got going. And then they can go, oh, I really like Bella. I like the things she has to offer and all this kind of stuff. And now they can make a decision on stuff because if you just hit them with that right at the first, they're overwhelmed. They have no idea who to turn to, who to go to, and this and that, which is why in fact, I've established a 501c3 for all this Living on Love outreach because I want people to say, okay, I can do this, I can follow, I can get on the road, I can start getting healthy, and then we open up the whole city to them of all the things they can do.
Love it. So inspiring. All right, Mutton, welcome. My question for Bella is what is the fastest way to get a fat person to lose weight? Do they need to take the change in steps? I'm skinny, by the way. I need to gain weight. Okay, so maybe you're asking for a friend or a loved one. Well, I'll go first and then I'll pass it off to Les. Fastest way, in my opinion, and look, I've been in the carnivore community online for 6.5 years now. I'm almost a 7-year carnivore in 4 months. By being in this wonderful community online and having the blessing to witness so many people change their lives and their health around, just like Les, just like myself, I noticed when you have the feeling of, I belong, I have people that support me and they get my diet, the chances of succeeding and sticking to this diet, I don't like to say diet, lifestyle, is
Right.
so much greater when you have that support system, that community to belong to and to feel that belonging to. So, my short answer is find that community. Go to Les's group or join Mind the Steak and Butter Gang, join Dr. Barry's, join all of them. You need community. That's just my humble opinion. How about you, Les?
Totally agree, Bella. You do need community. One needs community. And I got to tell you, a little over 3 years ago, this thing right here, this is the actual cane that I bought to get myself up and down stairs back then. And I keep this
Wow.
as a reminder of what my life was like before. And people, and I really didn't have community back then, but then I found a community and got in, and I went, wow, here's all these people. And you see all the chats, and you see all these people, oh, well, I did this and I did that. And it can be confusing because people are talking about oxalates. And I didn't know what an oxalate was in the world when I first started reading that. And I just ignored it. But you do have a sense of, oh, here's other people who understand me and what I'm going through, especially when you hear the stories of people that have been 300, 400, 500, 600 and higher overweight, and they've lost hundreds of pounds. My friend Mark, who went from 230 to 165, there were two Marks, and now there's one Mark, if you think about it that way. And you have to have a community of people that understand what you're going through. And it's not a diet. It's not okay, take this prescription and take it home and do this and you'll be fine. Call me in the morning. It's not one of those deals. It's a community when you're like some of these questions we have. Hey, I've been in here for 45 days and now I'm experiencing this. And what do you think? It's like, if you weren't in a community, you wouldn't get stuff like that answered unless you had Google AI answer it for you. And that may or may not be a good thing, depends. So yeah,
Yes.
community is
Yes.
huge.
I love it. Now, Jacob, I see your chat. I would say the fastest way to lose weight is to track your calories and buy a weight scale and go for 5-minute mile walks. Jacob, you may be right. That may be the fastest way to lose weight, but for me, I care about weight loss that stays. I have tried the track your calories, the obsess over the number on the scale, the work your butt off in the gym as well. Yes, the weight goes down quick. It never stays, and the weight comes back harder. So I've never been able to successfully lose weight with the triple three that Jacob is saying here, just personally. Okay. Maybe it's my female hormones, without gaining more weight back. So I didn't just gain the 10 pounds that I lost, but I gained 15, 20 pounds. So to me, that's not worth it. But if really, okay, maybe I misunderstood the question. If really you just want to lose weight fast and you don't care what happens to your hormones, your metabolism, your sleep, and then maybe your weight in 2 months, do this. But if you want to lose weight like me and Les and actually keep it off effortlessly,
Yes.
you know, and actually be able to live your life and do the things that you want and spend the quality time that you want with your loved ones and family and your partner without thinking about food 24/7, I highly recommend taking this interview seriously. And what Les has shared with his journey, what I share on my channel, you guys are here for a reason. You probably are looking to carnivore because you have no other choice, like both of us here. Okay. So, thank you for contributing, Jacob. Just wanted to share my thoughts on this sentence on the screen right now. What are your thoughts on this, Les?
Jacob, I feel you. And here's the thing. I've tried every diet known to man, I believe. I mean, I've done the Suzanne Summers, I've done all the different diets and everything. And did I lose weight? Every single one of them, I lost weight. Did I gain it back, as Bella said? Yep. And I gained more. I got a bonus prize. I gained back whatever I lost plus some extra pounds. And so think about it. I'm going along like this, and then I lose weight, and then I come back up, and then I go up more, and then I go along at the new level, and then I lose weight, and then I come back up and I go up a little bit more. So over time, even with diet and exercise, every doctor in the world says what you need to do is you need to eat less and move more. Well, if that worked, we wouldn't have a nation of overweight people. And it
Right.
doesn't work. A lot of it has to do with the moderation versus abstinence. It has to do with a number of different factors, the human psyche, but the community is a huge deal. And I will tell you, if you combine what I'm going to call the right way to eat, the ancestral way to eat, with fasting, and you incorporate both those with a community, and you only look at your scale once a week at most. There's people that are scale fanatics. They look at it every day.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh, I gained 3 pounds. And they go, well, I drank a lot of stuff. It must be water weight. And they basically psych themselves out. It's like, don't do that. Don't
Yeah.
do that. Just eat right. And in fact, what I originally said when we started this back, Bella asked me, what are the three things? And I said, okay, for the
Mhm.
body, it's eat, sleep, move. And guess what? Move is the least important of the three. Eating
Mm.
is probably most important for people because they'll get control of themselves and they'll see some benefits. And believe it or not, one that's a sleeper, no pun intended, is sleep. I've done extremely deep dives into sleep. I've got a bunch of different sleep books behind me. I've done a lot of reading, a lot of down the rabbit holes and stuff. And sleep is hugely important. In fact, what I will tell you is right here. Here's a promotion for the Whoop strap. This is a
Oh.
Whoop strap, and I know about Oura rings, and I know about Apple watches, and I know about Garmin and all this other kind of stuff. But this is the baby, the Whoop strap. And I just got an upgrade, and I'm now on the highest level that you can get at Whoop in terms of how much I have to pay every month and every
Mm.
year. But this tracks every single thing that I need to know about sleep. It talks about consistency, it talks about performance, it talks about stress, it talks about when you went to bed and when you got up and all this other kind of stuff. And in the long run, sleeping and breathing are the two most important things. They overwhelm eating and exercise and everything else because that's how your body repairs itself. You have deep REM sleep, which is repairing your mind, and you have deep sleep, which slow wave sleep, SWS, that repairs your body. And those two together are what your body needs every night. It doesn't need the light sleep. It doesn't need the awake times when you get up, pee, and all that kind of stuff. But it needs those two. Those two combined are called restorative sleep. And now with this Whoop strap, I just celebrated my second anniversary of wearing this, and it is phenomenal on everything that it tracks.
Wow.
And now I'm a fanatic about sleep because if you have a sleep deficit, you will never ever make it up. That's a proven fact. If you have a sleep deficit, if you're an if
Mm.
you if you're an hour short of sleep one night and you sleep long the next 2 or 3 nights, so now you don't have any sleep deficit, that hour is always gone, and it will affect the end of your life, which you may not care about now. But I haven't told you all this, but my plan is to live to be 140. I did the first 70 years of my life not good.
Wow.
And so I told God, I'm going to live the next 70 years of my life good and serving Him and serving others. And so I said, God, if you just give me the ability to do that, I will do all the right things. So I'm into sleep. I've done a deep dive into breathing. That's a whole week. Bella and I could spend 2 hours on just the breathing
Yes.
topic, but
Wow.
it's amazing. Okay. Sorry. I
I
went
love
on.
that goal so much, and you will most definitely reach it. I just know it, Les. Now, I have a question for you since we're on the topic of sleep. You're a 3-year carnivore, you're 74 years young. I'm a 6.5 year carnivore. And I would love to know if you have found that your need for hours of sleep to feel well rested, has it shrunk? Has it changed? Has it increased? Have you noticed any changes in your last 3
That's a
years?
great question. I was very much sleep deprived, and I was not getting the right kind of sleep, and I was getting a lot of stressful sleep with a lot of wake up times and all this kind of stuff before, because I didn't wear a sleep mask. I didn't have all the lights out in the room. I didn't have all the sound. It's basically like you want to be in a cocoon almost. And so I was very sleep deprived. So I spent the first 3 or 4 months just getting myself adjusted. And once I
Mm.
did that, now I need about, instead of 8 to 8.5 hours of sleep at night, which is what I was needing before. Now I'm needing for my whoop strap to tell me, "Attaboy, you did a good job." I only
Mhm.
need between 6 hours and about 50 minutes up to 7 hours and 30 minutes of sleep a night if I've been a good boy the few days before. So
Yeah,
I have
that's
seen
so
it come
fascinating.
down, not a whole lot.
Yes, I've seen the same exact thing. So first year of carnivore, I needed anywhere from 9 to 11 hours of sleep. Again,
Wow.
I had so much healing and resting that my body needed to do, and I honored it. I ate and ate and ate, and I slept. So after the first, I want to say 2 years of just healing, sleeping, eating, I went from needing 9 to 11 hours to now 6.5 years in. I need 6, 7 hours, just like you, Les.
Okay.
6 to 7 hours is ideal for me.
Yep.
Yeah. So very
And
cool.
you're quite a bit younger than me, so I
Mhm.
probably
Yeah.
need more sleep than you do, just because as you get older, you have more body parts that are needing repair and all this kind of stuff. So the
Mhm.
sleep is how you get those repaired.
Yes. Comment, please, your answer. I'd love to know how many hours of sleep you personally need to feel well rested. Next up, we have Teacher Lynn. Welcome. I will be 70 in 2 months, and I am afraid to start carnivore at my age. Thoughts, Les?
Why? Why? Oh my gosh, I started at 70. I was almost 71. I started a month before I turned 71. And you know what I regret most right now, Teacher Lynn, is that I didn't know about this when I was 50. Because if I was 50, I would have probably extended my life a whole lot more. But I went from 11 meds to one. I'm on one med now. I'm still on high blood pressure med, and my cardiologist says he's going to have me off of it by the end of the year. 11 medications 3 years ago to one. I went from all kinds of body problems to no body problems. I went from lower spinal stenosis in my back, as evidenced by a MRI. And when I went back to the guy, because he was talking about doing surgery on my back and everything, and I went back to him like 8 months later, and I said, "I'm fixed." He goes, "What do you mean you're fixed?" And I said, "I'm fixed because I don't have it anymore." He goes, "That's impossible. Once you have lower," and he started to give me the medical, here's what lower spinal stenosis is, and blah, 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 blah. I said, "Watch this." I started doing jumping jacks. I got on the floor and started doing push-ups. I did sit-ups. And he goes, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" I said, "I'm proving to you I don't have it anymore." And he goes, "Well, you sure do. If we did another MRI, it would probably show up." And I go, "So what are you telling me? The fact that I was in constant pain and had a cane and all that, and now I can do jumping jacks and sit-ups and push-ups, and it doesn't bother me? Okay, fine. If your x-rays show that I still got it, who cares if it's not impacting me?" And he goes, "Well, you got a good point there." So that was the last time I ever saw him. But yeah, why are you afraid
Bravo.
to start carnivore? You should not, unless you've got some medical conditions, and I'm going to put that in quotes, unless you have some medical conditions that would prevent you from doing it. And even if you have medical conditions, you can probably start some version of carnivore, if nothing more than, what if you did nothing but step one of what I just said? Take all the sugar out of your life. That's it. Don't change
Yes.
any of your eating habits except what you have to do. Like you can't eat fruit or ice cream or anything else because that has sugar in it. So if you took all the sugar out of your life and just ate vegetables, and sometimes I'll eat one of the four. I'll eat green beans, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, or asparagus. Those are the four, and they're all green. And when I've looked at all the charts and what's the least disruptive and all, those are like the four best ones of the worst, if you will, best of the worst. If you're going to eat any vegetables, those are four good ones to work when you're out at a restaurant. They go, you get two sides. My usual response is, give me a double helping of green beans with nothing on them. So I don't know
Yes.
why you're afraid to start carnivore, but I'd be very curious about that. Bella,
Keep
what are
us
your
posted,
thoughts?
teacher Lynn. Yeah, no, I was gonna say, Lynn, maybe you're afraid to start because it's such a different lifestyle and diet from pretty much any other diet right now. And it's just animal foods. So it's very different for sure. But I just want to let you know that you just never know how amazing you can feel and
Yes.
how much inflammation you can get out of your life and your body and your mind until you try it. And again, back to the community. Les has a group. I have a group. If you feel afraid or lost or unsure to do it alone, you don't have to. You really don't have to. Les, do you have social media? I know you do, but just talk about it because people are
Yes,
asking.
I do. And okay, I'm going to hide behind I'm an old guy. Okay, I do have social media, but I need some help from some young people that know how to do all this because do I have a website? Yes, Kicking Ass After 70. Do I have another website, Living on Love Outreach? Yes, I do. Lolo25 is that one, lolo25.com, and Kicking Ass
Okay.
After 70.com, all one word with the 70 instead of spelling out 70. I've got those two. So I've got a YouTube channel, Kicking Ass After 70. I've got a Facebook page. I've got an Instagram page. I've got an X page that I never use. So I've got all this, but I'm doing so many things right now and trying to do seminars and help people and doing workshops and write my book and all this that I'm not good at doing that. A buddy of mine, the same guy that went from 320 down to 165 or 330 to 165, he and I have an appointment for Friday for him to do a trial run through with me interviewing him because he goes, when are you going to do your first interview and post it on your YouTube channel? So I'm like, okay, Mark. So he's walking me through it on Friday and we're going to do it. And he's pushing me to get it going because I don't want to invent anything. I don't want to create anything in turn. All I want to do is find people like Bella and other people that have all this great knowledge, interview them, put them on there, and they tell it. And when I have to go do a deep dive in sleep, it's because I haven't found anything that satisfies me that I can just go get this person, take that information, and post it. All I want to do is gather all the information in and post it, and I'm good at categorizing and documenting, and here's these. It's like aisles in a grocery store. I want to set up the whole thing like aisles in a grocery store, so depending on what you want, you can find it and go do it. I'm good at, if I never invent anything, that's fantastic.
I love that so much, Les. So everything is linked down below in the description box on how you can connect with Les, work with Les, continue to be inspired by Les. All links are down below in the description box. Any other announcements you wanted to share with the community before we wrap up?
Oh yeah, we are wrapping up. All right, let's see here. I got some notes. I'm looking at them real quick, folks. The move, eat,
Okay.
sleep, move. On the move, going back to the gentleman that was talking about dieting and moving. Um, I rebuilt my strength by hiring a yoga instructor and hiring a strength training instructor. And I always thought yoga was for sissies. And when I hired the yoga instructor, I got over that real quick. And she did great things for me. And so did the strength training. And he made me take the picture and all that kind of stuff. So that was good. And now I try and stretch, do some yoga. I just do zone 2 and 3 cardio. Anybody knows the 5 zones in cardio? I try and do zone 2 and 3 cardio several times a week. I try and do sprints twice a week. Sprints are usually about 30 seconds long. I want to get my heart rate up and max out my heart rate, which for me is about 162. So I want to do that twice a week. And I usually run 3 sprints. I just get my heart down in between and all that. Occasional zone 3 and zone 4 cardio. And I do Ben Bokikio's, Dr. Ben's strength resistance training. And I hired him for about 2 months to train me on that. And you really can do resistance training 15 minutes twice a week. And and that's so great because I used to think when I go to the gym, oh my God, it's an hour, it's 15 minutes driving each way. I'm going to be there for an hour. I got to come back, shower, blah, blah, blah. I'm using up 2 or 3 hours of my time. And so anyway, this is great. How long carnivore, health issues? What did I lost? And I'm like the Energizer Bunny now. I wake up at
You
this
are.
morning. I knew I was going to be at Belladonna. I woke up at 1:47 a.m. I finally got out of bed at 2:02 a.m. I spent 2 hours at my PC working on all this stuff because it just comes into my mind. And then I went back to bed. Uh,
Wow.
then the last thing is I'm going to do the Yellow Brick Road thing where I'm going to actually tell people, hey, when I do presentations, I was on the Yellow Brick Road. I took some souvenirs when I left the Yellow Brick Road. Here's you a little souvenir so you can remember, follow the Yellow Brick Road, don't get off the road. And then I also have Pay It Forward coins. And this is all about, it's Living on Love outreach. And basically, I go up to people every day that I haven't met before. Could be a checker in Lowe's, checking me out at Lowe's. Ask them how their day's going, this and that. I give them a coin. They go, what's this? I said, it's just an outreach program. On the back, it's got a QR code you can scan. It'll take you to my Living on Love outreach Lolo 25 website. And you can go to the workshop, click on the workshop. It's very little, very simple website. Homepage, about me, and then workshop. And I've got the stuff in there in the workshop, how you do the 1, 2, 3. No sugars, less than 100 grams of carbs a day, and the no seed oils. And it just tells you how to do that and get started. And then it's in a little thing like this with my business card on it. And there's an extra coin in there. And every time I ask person, what do you think the extra coin is for? They go, I guess I'm supposed to give it to somebody else. I go, bingo. That's exactly right. It's a pay it forward thing. So this is your coin that goes in here. And this is the extra coin for you to pay it forward. Woo! Let's see if I left anything off. Body, mind, and
I can
spirit.
invite you back, Les. It's okay. You're doing great.
I have to tell you, God and the Holy Spirit turned me around 3 years ago. And I give everything to that. So here's how I want to end at 140. Look up this guy. His name is Hunter Thompson. He passed away in 2005. And here's what he said. Life should not be a journey to the grave with the intention of arriving safely in a pretty and well-preserved body, but rather to skid in broadside in a cloud of smoke, thoroughly used up, thoroughly worn out, and loudly proclaiming, wow, what a ride. That's what I want to do when I hit 140. I want to skid to a stop in a cloud of smoke, go, God, I'm yours.
I just love that. Les, thank you so much for your time. Everyone watching, please say a big thank you to Les. Again, Les is 74, and he was able to deliver so much energy for us in this interview. What an amazing testimonial. So we will see you guys Friday night for our next live stream, of course. And check out Les at the links down below in the description box. Love you guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Have a
Love you.
beautiful night. Thank you so much.